morning, class. Today we are working on Math Lesson 1-6, Homework, Unit 1, Lesson 6, Homework. Today we are adding fractions, and we are adding fractions with mixed numbers. Remember, when we're adding fractions with common denominators, we can just add straight across the top with the numerators and leave the denominator the same. For example, number 1 reads 3/5 plus 4/5, and so all we have to do is add straight across, and remember, denominator stays the same, and so the denominator is 5 still, and 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. Well, we know that 7/5 is an improper fraction, which means the top, the numerator, is larger than the denominator. And so we have to then convert that to a mixed number. And the way that we do that, we practiced yesterday. You can practice again today, but if you'd like to look back in that video, we went over it a few different times. But all you do is ask yourself, how many times can the denominator go into the numerator without going over? So I know that 5 can go into 7 one time without going over, and the difference between 5 and 7 is 2. So I have 2 left over. That becomes my numerator, and my denominator stays the same. The other way that you can look at it is literally 7 divided by 5, and 7, we know that 5 can go into 7 one time, and 7 minus 5 is 2, and so 2 is our remainder, and that becomes our numerator, and the denominator is our divisor, which is 5. So it's 1 2/5. So number 1 equals 1 2/5. The next thing we're going to look at is going to be subtracting fractions with a mixed number. So you can look at number 5, and it reads 1 7/9 minus 4/9. Well, if you look at this one, you can ignore the whole number here, because you can see that you can actually take 7 minus 4 without having to borrow. So you would leave your whole number the same, bring it down. 1 is your whole number. 7 minus 4 is equal to 3, and your denominator of 9 stays the same. So it's 1 3/9. You can also reduce that 1, and you know that 3 can go into 3 once, and you know that 3 can go into 9 3 times. So 1 3/9 or 1 1/3, and I would accept either answer on that. We haven't done a ton of reducing fractions and bringing them to the lowest possible fraction. So if you left it at 1 3/9, I would accept that, or 1 1/3. Either one is appropriate. And so 1 3/9 or 1 1/3. Let's go ahead and look at number 9. We have 4 1/2 plus 5 1/2. And in this one, when we add, we're going to add our two fractions together first, and 1/2 plus 1/2 is equal to 1 whole. So when we add, we have to add that 1 whole to our whole numbers when we add them together, and 4 plus 5 is equal to 9, plus 1 more is equal to 10. And so number 9 is actually going to be 10, a whole number of 10, because 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1 whole. All right, let's move on to one like number 13. We have a whole number, 2, and from 2 we are subtracting 1/3. Well, that means that we have to first convert that 2 to a fraction. When we think of 2 as a whole number, we know that in this fraction form, 1 is equal to 3/3, and 2 whole would be 3/3 plus 3/3. And so that's actually 6/3. We can also think about it as 1 3/3, because it's 1 plus 1 is 2. So when you're subtracting this one, you can break it up into 3/3 plus 3/3 is equal to 6/3, or you can make it 1 3/3 when you complete your subtraction. And so I'm going to convert it to 1 3/3. So 1 3/3, because 3/3 is equal to 1, minus 1/3. And I can then subtract, and I know that it's 1, and my whole number is 1, and I have 3 minus 1, which is 2, and then my denominator stays the same. So my answer is 1 2/3. Okay, let's look at number 14, and we're going to have to ungroup that whole number again so that we can subtract. And here we have 5 3/8 minus 2 7/8. And we can see that 7/8 is larger than 3/8, so we're going to have to borrow, okay, from this whole number, the 5, to make this numerator here, the 3, larger. And in eighths, we know that one whole, if we borrowed one whole from 5, it would become a 4, and we would be adding 8/8, because that's one whole, to our 3/8. And that is now going to equal 11/8, or 4 11/8, minus 2 7/8. And now we can subtract our fractions. 11 minus 7 is 3. Our denominator stays the same, 1/8. And then 4, our whole number, 4 minus 2 is equal to 2. So our answer is 2 3/8. 2 3/8. In number 15, we're going to again practice ungrouping so that we can subtract. In number 15, we have 2 1/6 minus 1 5/6. Well, we know that we can't subtract 5 from 1 because 5 is larger than 1. So we are going to have to again borrow from our whole here. And so we're going to borrow from it, so that's 2 is going to become a 1, and then we are going to add 6/6 to our 1/6, which is going to become 1 7/6 minus 1 5/6. 7 minus 5 is equal to 2/6, and 1 minus 1 is 0, so we're left with 2/6. 2/6 can also be reduced to 1/3 because 2 can go into 2 ones and 2 can go into 6 3 times. I would accept either one, 2/6 or 1/3. We're going to go ahead and work on some story problems together. Number 16 says, I made a clay snake 9 5 inches long, but 9 5/8 inches long, but a section 1 7/8 inches long broke off. How long is the snake now? Well, we know that if something broke off, okay, we're taking that piece out of it, and we want to know how long it is now. So this is going to be a subtraction problem. And we have 9 5/8 minus 1 7/8. And here's another one where the number, that the fraction that we are subtracting is larger than the original numerator, so we have to borrow. So our 9 becomes an 8, and we add 8/8. That's that one whole that we're adding into our fraction here. And 8 plus 5 is equal to 13 over 8 minus 1 7/8. Now we can subtract. 13 minus 7 is equal to 6. Our denominator stays the same, and 8 minus 1 is equal to 7. So our whole number is now 7. So we have 7 6/8, and I would accept that answer. You could also reduce it because we know that 2 can go into 6 and 2 can go into 8. So 7 and 2 can go into 6 3 times. 2 can go into 8 4 times. So 7 3/4 is also an answer I would accept. So 7 3/4 inches long. Make sure that you're using this section out here to show your work. That way, if there's a mistake, I can help you to correct it. I'm going to have you work on 17 and 18 on your own, and 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, and 12. If you have any questions, let me know. When you're finished, please take a picture of your work, upload it, and turn it in on Teams. Thank you.